Hello YouTube fam, welcome to the practice. Today we'll be working on building strength in our core muscles and opening up of our heart. So that means a lot of back bends, and it will be a fun quick practice. We'll not be requiring any kind of props during the practice, but if you are used to using blocks and yoga straps, you can have it handy. And as always, please take this flow at your pace and tailor the vinyasa to your requirements and how you are feeling during your time on the mat. Thank you so much for all the love that I've been getting on my previous videos. Please do comment and let me know what you think of this practice, and share and subscribe to my channel. Your support is extremely appreciated, and I'll see you on the mat. We'll start our practice in a reclined butterfly. So we'll be coming all the way down onto the mat on our tummies and having our feet, the soles of our feet coming to touch each other in froggy legs. Engage your lower abs, tuck your tailbone here, and we'll stay here for 5 full breaths, opening up of our inner thighs. Squeeze your glutes. Move your shoulders away from your ears. Bring your ankles in line with your knees and shift your hips back so your knees are in line with your hips. You can come up on your forearms and stay here. This is slightly deeper than the reclined butterfly. You can either stay up on your forearms, or you can bring your chest down onto the mat and rest one cheek on your yoga mat and stay in this stretch for another 5 breaths. Flex your feet to protect your knee. Relax in your jaws. Bring your feet together. Push all the way back up. Come onto your knees. Tuck your toes and lift your knees off the mat. You can stay here balancing, engaging your core. This is a nice stretch for your toes. Crisscross your fingers and open your palm away from your chest. And we'll take a cat-cow variation from this balance, but if that is too much for you, you can bring your knees down onto the mat. Curl your back and move your palm away from your chest, extending your lat muscles. Exhale, straighten your back and bring your arms alongside your ears, still keeping your crisscrossed fingers and palms are facing the sky. 4 more of these. Round your back, palms move away from your chest. Exhale, lengthen your back, bring your arms alongside your ears. Move at your own pace, move with your breath, and try to stay balanced, engaging your core. Slowly roll on to your heels, lift your hips off the mat and fold forward. And stay in your Ragdoll Fold, or you can hold the back of your ankles to deepen your forward fold. Palm the mat and walk into your full plank. Adjust your stance. Bring your right forearm down on the mat, left forearm down on the mat, coming into your forearm plank. Take a deep breath here. Walk your feet towards your hands, coming into your dolphin. Work towards bringing the heels down onto the mat. So you should be able to feel a nice stretch in your calf muscles. Hold here for a breath. Walk back into your forearm plank and dip your right hip down onto the mat. Back to center. Left hip down onto the mat. So back to center. And we'll continue with these hip dips, taking 4 on each side. And I lost my count. Bring your hips down onto the mat, coming into your swings. Back of your feet are firmly down on the mat. Your legs are active and pull your chest through your arms. Hold here for a breath. Bring your palms to the corners of the mat. Push your elbows off the mat. Opening, taking a deep cobra stretch or a seal. Come back down into your swings. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips, coming into forearm plank. Walk your dolphin. This time lift your right leg up, 3-legged dolphin. Switch sides. Left leg up, 3-legged dolphin. Walk back into your forearm plank and we'll take another set of those hip dips. Every exhale, bring your hip to touch the mat and come back to center. Back to your forearm plank. Hips come down, coming into a swings. Hold here for a breath. Engage your core. Bring your palms to the corners of the mat. Push into your seal. Take a breath. Back down into your swings. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Forearm plank. Walk into your dolphin. Lift your right leg up. 3-legged dolphin. Switch sides. Left leg up. 3-legged dolphin. Bend your knees, look towards your palm, shoot into your full plank and flow through your chaturanga, upward facing dog, coming all the way back, downward facing dog. Look towards your palms, bend your knees, step or hop, come to the front of the mat, halfway lift, fold forward. Sweep your arms up, come into your Tadasana. Engage your core and tuck your tailbone. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. You can bring your palms to support your lower back. Squeeze your elbows towards each other and open your chest up towards the sky, taking a standing back bend. Come back to your Tadasana. Engage your core. Lift your heels off the mat. Sweep your arms all the way up. Swan dive. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Bring your palms to your chest. Roll onto the balls of your feet and bring your hips onto your heels. Bring both your knees down onto the mat. Lift your hips up. Adjust your stance. We'll take a supported camel. You can bring your knees slightly wider than hip distance and keep your toes tucked, or you can bring the tops of your feet down onto the mat. Squeeze your elbows and open your chest up towards the sky. Come back to the center. Tuck your toes. Hips come onto your heels. Lift your knees off the mat. Slowly roll all the way down and lift your hips up, coming into your bridge pose. Squeeze your glutes, engage your core, roll back down onto the mat and roll all the way up, coming into your Navasana. Feet come down onto the mat, roll back onto your toes and all the way back up, still keeping your heels off the mat. Try to balance, and that requires a lot of core strength. Come back into your Tadasana. We'll take that flow one more time and add on to that. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. Support your lower back. Engage your core. Squeeze your elbows towards each other and open your chest up towards the sky. Go as far back as you can. Roll back up. Come back to your Tadasana. Lift your heels off the mat. Sweep your arms all the way up. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Palms to your chest. Come onto your toes. Bring your hips down onto your heels. Balance here for a moment. Bring your knees down onto the mat. Lift your hips off your heels. Adjust your stance and take your supported camel. You can have the backs of your feet down on the mat. Roll back up, back onto your toes, roll all the way down onto the mat. Try doing that entire transition without using your hands. Lift your hips off the mat, coming into your bridge. This time, all your weight comes onto your left foot. Lift your right leg off the mat. You can either have your leg bent or extend your toes towards the sky. Hold here for 5 breaths. Keep squeezing your glutes. Engage your core. Back, right leg back on the mat. Switch sides. Lift your left leg off the mat. Point your toes to the sky and hold. Squeezing your glutes, squeezing your inner thighs. Left foot comes down on the mat. Roll your back down. Roll back up into your Navasana. Hold your Navasana for a breath. Bring your feet down on the mat. Roll onto your toes. Keep your heels off the mat. Come all the way in to stand into your Tadasana. We'll take one more round of that. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. Support your lower back, engage your core, squeeze your glutes and squeeze your elbows towards each other. Open your chest towards the sky. Slowly come back to your Tadasana. Bring your feet hip distance apart. Come on the ball mounts of your feet. Sweep your arms all the way up. Engage your core. Swan dive. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Bring your palms to the chest. Shift your weight onto your toes, lifting your heels. Bring your hips to land on your heels. Balance here for a moment. Bring both your knees down on the mat. Adjust your stance, and this time, if you are ready for it, take a full expression of camel pose. Keep pushing your hips forward, squeezing your glutes and opening your chest up towards the sky. Slowly come back up, tuck your toes, roll your back down onto the mat, lift your hips off the mat, keeping your heels directly underneath your knees. Take a bridge, squeeze your glutes, hold for a breath. Weight comes onto your left foot, lift your right leg off the mat, pointing your toes towards the sky or keep your leg bent. 2 more breaths. Bring your right leg down on the mat, switch sides, left leg up, hold for a breath. Bring that down on the mat. Roll your hips all the way down. And this time we'll lift both your feet off the mat and we'll take leg drops. Extend your leg, pointing your toes towards the sky, and drop one leg at a time. Bring it back up. Exhale, left leg down. Bring it back up. Engage your lower abs. Drop your leg only as far as you're comfortable. You should not feel any pinching in your lower back. And if you need to, you can bring your hands behind your head to support your neck. Last one on both sides. Bend your knees. Your knees are directly stacked over your hips. Bring your right ankle to cross on your left thigh and interlace your fingers behind your left leg and pull it closer to your chest, taking a figure 4 stretch for your hips. Keep your right foot flexed. Bring your legs in eagle bind and drop your knees to the left side, outside of your left hip. Extend your arms out into a T. Be mindful to keep both your shoulder blades down on the mat. Come back to the center. Bring your left ankle on your right thigh. Crisscross your fingers behind your right leg and pull it closer to your chest. Feeling a nice stretch in your left hip and back of your thighs. Bind your legs in eagle. Drop your knees to the outside of your right hip this time and open your chest up towards the sky. Keep your arms out in a T. And both your shoulder blades are down on the mat. Come back to the center and we'll all roll up into our Navasana. You can have your palms behind your thighs for extra support, or you can extend your hands out. Either stay here, or if you want an extra challenge, slowly start extending both your legs. Bring your knees into your chest, foot down onto the mat, roll up and come onto all fours. Make sure that your palms are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Tops of your feet are down on the mat. Drop your belly, lift your chest up. Next exhale, round your back, tuck your tailbone and your shoulder blades are moving away from each other. 2 more rounds of cat and cow. Drop your belly, lift your chest. Round your back, tuck your tailbone. 1 more. Come back to your neutral spine and walk your palms all the way forward. Stay on your fingertips and bring your chest down onto the mat. Plug your shoulders into their sockets and they're moving away from your ears. Take a puppy stretch. Make sure that your hips are directly over your knees the whole time and the tops of your feet are on the mat. Every exhale, try to bring your chest closer to the mat. You can either have your chin on the mat or your forehead down. Come all the way back into your all fours and lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Look towards the mat and walk your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, fold forward, come all the way back up into your Tadasana. We'll take a standing back bend. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. Support your lower back if you need to. Squeeze your elbows, squeeze your glutes. Hips pushes forward. Open your chest up towards the sky. Back up to the center and lift your cross your back up to the center, back into your Tadasana. Cross your right foot in front of your left and take a forward fold. You should feel a nice stretch in your IT bands and the back of your legs. Come back up. Bring your hands alongside your ears. Grab hold of your right wrist and take a side body stretch. Grow tall in your torso. Open your arms out in a T and bring your back leg, your left leg out. Stack your hips and transition into your fallen star. If you fall out of it, don't stress too much, it's okay. Come back to the center and bring your left foot back to its position behind the right foot. Back to Tadasana and we'll switch sides. Left foot in front of right and fold forward. Come back all the way up. Grab hold of your left wrist with your right and take a side body stretch. Grow tall from your torso. Come back to the center. Bring your arms out in a T and right leg this time comes out. Flex your right foot and transition into your fallen star. Engage your core. Come back to your starting position with your right foot behind your left. Back to Tadasana and sweep your arms all the way up. Come on the ball mounts of your feet. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. If we'll be transitioning into a crow pose, and if you do not have crow, you can swap it for a malasana. Bring both your palms down on the mat. Your palms are directly underneath your shoulders. Lift your heels off the mat and tuck your knees on your upper arms, on your triceps. Shift your weight forward. You can even stay here. Engage your core, and whenever you're ready, try playing with lifting one foot off the mat. Your gaze is slightly forward. Keep your core engaged the whole time. Release back, step back into your plank, flow through your chaturanga, upward facing dog, come all the way back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath, lift your right leg up, three-legged dog, engage your core, squeeze your inner thighs, bend your right knee and stack your hips. Come back to the center, bring your shoulders directly over your palms and transition into wild thing. Right foot behind your left hip. Bring your right foot in line with your left palm, coming into a low lunge. Arms come alongside your ears. Palm the mat. We'll be transitioning into a standing splits. Fold over your standing leg. You can bring your right hand behind your right ankle and fold. Bring your chest towards your right leg. Halfway lift, still keeping your left foot extended up. Flex your left foot and plug into your left hips. Compress your left thigh and try to bring your left toes towards your left wrist without putting your feet down on the mat. Crisscross your legs. Your left foot is crossed over your right and fold forward. Come all the way up into your Tadasana. Grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and take a side body stretch. Come back up. Open your arms out into a T and we'll flow through our fallen star from here. Lift your right leg off the mat, flexing your right foot. Oh, I'm so close to the wall, I have no space here. Hold your fallen star for a second. Engage your core the whole time. Slowly bring your right leg back. Transition into warrior 3. Ooh, it's tiring. Plant your back foot down on the mat. Arms come alongside your ears into your low lunge. Cactus your arms. Open your chest up towards the sky. Back to center and lift your back foot off the mat. Bring it behind your left. You're back into your starting position and fold forward. Come back up. We'll take that sequence one more time. Grab hold of your left wrist with your right and take a side body stretch. Keep your abs engaged and tailbone tucked. Back to center. Bring your arms out into a T. Transition into your fallen star. Lift your right leg up, keeping your right foot flexed. Slowly transition into warrior 3. One breath. Release into your low lunge. Cactus your arms. Open your chest up towards the sky. Come all the way back up into your starting position and bring your feet next to each other. Tadasana. One deep breath. Bring your arms alongside your ears. Fold forward. Plant your palms. Step or hop back into your plank. Flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Come all the way back. Downward facing dog. This time lift your left leg up. Three-legged dog. Stack your hips. Bend your knee. Open your chest. Shift your shoulders onto your palms. Right palm is directly underneath your right shoulder. Open up into a wild thing. Bring your left foot in line with your right palm, coming into a low lunge, and lift your back foot off the mat. Transition into standing splits. You can bring your left hand behind your left ankle. Halfway lift. Flex your back foot. Engage your core. Compress your thighs and slowly bring your right toes towards your right wrist without bringing your foot down on the mat, and crisscross your feet. Right foot in front of your left. Fold forward. All the way back into your Tadasana, arms alongside your ears. Grab hold of your right wrist with your left and side body stretch. Back to center. Bring your hands out in a T. Engage your core. Lift your left leg up, flexing your left foot, coming into a fallen triangle. Slowly come back through your warrior 3. If you lose your balance, come back into it, that's fine. Step back into your low lunge. Bring your palms alongside your arms, alongside your ears. Cactus your arms and open your chest up towards the sky. Back to center. Step forward into your starting position, bringing your left foot behind your right. Grab hold of your left wrist with your right and side body stretch. Come back to the center. Arms come out into a T. Transition into a fallen star, engaging your core. Your core is the one lifting your left leg up. Keep your left foot flexed. Transition through warrior 3. Step back into your low lunge. I am completely off the mat. Open your chest up towards the sky. Back to center. Bring your left foot behind your right. And both feet come next to each other, Tadasana. You should feel the heat building up in your core and in your sides. And I love that feeling. From here, bend your right leg. Grab hold on the outside of your right foot with your right hand and kick into your hand and take a dancer's. Keep squaring your hips and your chest down. Ooh. Release back into one-legged Tadasana. Hinge from your hips. Warrior 3. Plant your back foot down on the mat. Open up warrior 2. Take a deep breath. This is a familiar pose. Flip your left palm. Transition through your reverse warrior. You can have your right hand come behind your back towards your left thigh. Flow through side angle. Taking whichever variation you feel like. Bring your right palm down on the mat. Frame your front foot and bring your left shin down on the mat, coming into a pigeon. Keep your left foot flexed. Work towards bringing your right hip down on the mat. Either stay up there or walk your palms, bring your chest all the way down. Take a deep breath. Come back into your pigeon. Bend your back knee and try to work your, this is completely optional, try to work your foot into your elbow crease. Bring your left hand alongside your ears and bind your hands behind your head. Open your chest. Release your pigeon variation and extend your back foot towards the side and bring your left foot to your right inner thigh, and we'll take a lateral side bend. Bring your right elbow, I'm off the mat and it feels weird. Bring your right elbow on the inside of your right leg. Extend your left hand alongside your ears. Both your sit bones are down on the mat. Take a few breaths in your side body stretch. Keep rotating your top shoulder towards the sky. Release your stretch. Bring the soles of your feet together. Both your sit bones are down on the mat. Coming into a butterfly. Either stay all the way up here or fold forward. Come all the way back up. Fold your knees, roll onto your toes, back into your Tadasana, and we'll take that flow on the other side. Bend your left leg, grab hold on the outside of your left foot with your left hand, start kicking into your hand, and as you do that, hinge from your hips, coming into a dancer's. Square your hips down onto the mat. Release into one-legged Tadasana. Transition through your warrior 3. Plant your back foot. Open up warrior 2. Flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior. Plant your right palm on the inside of your right leg, side angle. Frame your front foot. Come on the toes of your back foot. Bring the right shin parallel to the short edge of the mat. Coming into a pigeon. Make sure that your right foot is flexed to protect your right knee. Either stay up here or walk your palms, bring your chest down on the mat. Work towards bringing your left hip down on the mat. Back up into your pigeon, bend your back leg. Again, this is optional. Work towards bringing your feet to your elbow crease. Right hand comes alongside your ears. Bind your hands behind your head. Open your chest towards the front edge of the mat. Release your pigeon. Bring your back leg to your side. And right foot comes to the inner thighs of your left leg. Bring your left elbow on the inside of your left knee. Right hand comes alongside your ears. Take a side body stretch. Make sure that both your sit bones are down on the mat. And your top shoulder is rotating towards the sky. Release. Bring the soles of your feet together. Come into your butterfly. You can stay up or fold forward. Come all the way back up. Plant your feet down on the mat. Roll your back down. We will be taking a wheel pose. There is no way I can skip a wheel pose, and that too in a back bend practice, right? Come all the way down on the back. You can take a bridge if you want to stay there, or if you want to try playing with your wheel, make sure that your heels are directly underneath your knees. Engage your core, tuck your tailbone, lift your hips up, coming into your bridge. Stay here, or if you want to play with your wheel, bring your palms next to your ears, and next exhale, lift all the way up into your wheel pose. Slowly release down on the mat. Phew, my knees. Hug your knees into your chest, roll from side to side. Release your lower back. We'll do a last bit of work on our core. Bring your arms out into a T. Your feet are together and knees are directly stacked over your hips. Engage your lower abs. Make sure that your back is completely down on the mat. Drop your knees to the outside of your left hip. Bring it back up. Drop it to the outside of your right hip. The whole time both your shoulder blades are down on the mat. We'll take a few more on each side, constantly keeping your chest up towards the sky, and try to keep your feet together. Your core is working when you're bringing your legs up. Back to center. Hug your knees back into your chest. And stack your hips onto your shoulders, coming into a shoulder stand. You can support your lower back with your palms, pointing your toes. Either stay here or bring your knees towards your forehead, extend your legs and toes come behind your head. You can crisscross your fingers, coming into a plow. Keep pushing through your heels and work your knees away from your face. And work towards stacking your glutes directly over your shoulders. Bend your knees, roll all the way back down onto the mat, and we'll end our practice in Shavasana. You can come into a child's pose and end your practice there, or if you have blocks, you can use it under your shoulders to have a deeper chest opener. Whichever variation you're taking, but please do make sure that you spend at least a minute in your Shavasana to consolidate your practice and to show gratitude towards your beautiful body for everything that it lets you do. Never take your health or your body for granted, because that's the only place you have to live. Whenever you are ready to come out, you can roll on to one side and slowly come back up to seated. I hope you had a wonderful practice and you enjoyed that flow. Please do leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the mat next week. Please consider subscribing to the channel. That's the best way to support me, and I'll be really appreciative of that. Thank you so much. Namaste.